5 relatives fled my dead uncle's haunted salvage yard, so I stayed and took his $42 million. A shipping container full of my great-uncle's belongings arrived at my door with a letter. $42 million. Mine. If I could run his salvage yard alone for 30 days without quitting. Nobody mentioned that 5 people had already tried. Nobody mentioned they all walked off on day 4. I had seen Reginald Marsh exactly once as an adult, at a maritime auction in Baltimore where he bid on a decommissioned Coast Guard vessel without blinking. He was weathered, deliberate, the kind of man who measured people in silence before he said a word. He looked at me across the room, gave one slow nod, and left. My mother said he was eccentric. My uncle called him something worse. The family consensus was that Reginald was best ignored. Then he died, and his executor, a compact, unsmiling man named Doris, called on a Wednesday and read me the terms. 30 consecutive days. The yard. Alone, except for his longtime foreman, a man named Sable, who would remain on site and could not be dismissed. Condition of the will. 5 others were offered this before you, Doris said flatly. I waited. He didn't explain. Why did they leave? I asked. That's outside the scope of what I can tell you, he said. Then, after a pause, Sable will be there when you arrive. I almost said no. My checking account said yes. The yard was vast and coastal, stacked with stripped hulls, rusted crane arms, mountains of salvaged metal that caught the afternoon light like something beautiful pretending to be wreckage. Sable was 60s, broad-shouldered, with eyes that tracked me the way a man watches weather. Number 6, he said, not a greeting, a classification. Does that bother you? I asked. Depends on how long you last. The first 3 days were hard but manageable. Physical. Real. I logged inventory, moved cable drums, learned the crane controls from a laminated sheet Reginald had left taped to the cab. Sable worked alongside me without small talk. He was efficient, unsettling, present. On day 3, I asked him directly, why did the others leave? He set down his coffee and looked out at the yard. This place makes noise at night, he said carefully. Metalwork shifting, pressure changes off the water. Most people hear it and convince themselves something's wrong. Is something wrong? He looked back at me. Depends on what you do with it. Night 4. I woke at 3 a.m. to the sound of a crane arm moving. Mechanical, deliberate, not wind. I lay rigid in the site trailer, listening to the groan and click of something heavy swinging in the dark. I grabbed my jacket and went out. That's when I realized the motion sensor lights were on. Every single one, triggered in sequence, leading to the east lot. My throat closed. I followed them anyway. That's when it stopped making sense. The crane was still. The lights were fading. But on the ground beneath the arm, arranged in a clean row, were 6 salvage tags, each one numbered, each one dated. 5 had names on them. The 6th was blank. I brought the tags to Sable at breakfast. He went very still. He set those out, Sable said quietly. Before he passed, he told me to leave them. Said whoever found them instead of running from them, that was the one. My chest tightened. He planned this. All of it. The sounds, the lights, the sequence. Sable wrapped both hands around his mug. He used to say he'd spent 60 years building things worth leaving behind, and he wasn't going to hand it to someone who bolted the moment they got uncomfortable. I found his site journal on day 19, locked in the crane cab under the operator's seat. His handwriting was dense and slanted. Asterisk, I don't need someone fearless. Fear is honest. I need someone who gets afraid and stays anyway. That's the only quality that transfers. Asterisk. I called Doris on day 22 and read it to him over the phone. He was quiet for a long moment. He told me once, Doris said slowly, that he'd made every mistake a man could make, and the only one he never recovered from was walking away too soon. On day 30, Doris drove out himself. Sable stood at the yard gate. When I came out, he extended his hand, the first time he'd offered it. He would have respected you, Sable said. I believed him.